Hello, students, and welcome to what I'm calling sort of an interactive lab activity demonstration kind of thing. What we have here is a plastic container that it has dirt and rocks and gravel kind of stuff to make a fake hillside, which I've already moistened a bit with some water. I call this a stream table. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna attempt to simulate what happens with a river or stream as it flows down a hillside. So we're gonna see some things happen in this video. Maybe we might do more than one video. Um, so it might be a two-part series or something like that. Probably will be more than one part. But anyway, in this first part, we're gonna just see the effects of pouring some water down this slope, see the formation of a stream channel, and then we'll also see some things in terms of like erosion happening and stuff like that. But I'm gonna actually give you guys a sort of a overhead perspective so you can see this happening. So what we need to do basically is just pour in some water into this reservoir over here, and it will then come out through a narrow opening at the top of the hill. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, we poured in some water. The water is coming out right here in this area. Let's see if I can move the camera over a little bit. See if you can see that. So it's coming out here, and then it's going to start flowing down the hill. Eventually it will start to make a stream. So I'm going to pause the video for a minute while the stream begins to develop. All right, so at this point we've gotten enough water flowing that there is the beginning of a stream starting to develop. You can see some of there's several different channels of water that are flowing, and now we've got one channel of water that's starting to flow more than the others. The water is coming down right through this area. You can kind of see some of the erosion that's happening down through here. So you can see bits of rock and gravel that are getting worn down this way. So you can see that here we have, so we now have river channels forming. Stream and river channels are forming in the hillside. And you can see how they are just naturally sort of creating these meanders. They're also forming and reforming and changing their positions based just how the water's flowing and the way that the bits of gravel and sand and so on are moving around. So you can see the ways that just even in real time, the way that the river channel or the stream channel is changing even moment by moment. Down here you can see a cut bank forming where the thing is coming out here. You've got one going there as well. So you can see these meanders being created, and like the path of the stream is also being changed over time. You can see here is a particularly, like, here's a curve in the stream, like that is eroding on the outer edge, right? And you can see bits of material being carried down through the stream. Here it sort of broke through a barrier and created a new path. So now it's deciding to flow this direction mostly. Yeah, so right now the path is going from the top here down through here, sort of cut bank. There's a cut bank where it's eroding this edge here, and then it's coming sort of around this meander down to here. It's cutting away right now at this bank and then kind of flowing down into here and then basically ending up right in this area down here. We're also getting a bit of a delta forming down here with the erosion that's happening. You can see that the eroded particles are starting to pile up down in this region. Gonna add more water. so we can keep this going. This may end up being only one video after all. Now with that extra water, the water flow is faster, so now we're getting bigger changes. The stream channel is changing rather dramatically at the moment. So right now it's going through here pretty quickly, curving, and there it just cut through. It cut through that barrier, so now this part is sort of being ignored. It's not really flowing through here anymore. So it's coming down here. Now it is flowing through this area again, down into here. When I started this, I had no idea what was going to happen, right? It's a new experience every time. The general principles are pretty similar from path to path. Okay, now we've got a pretty solid channel formed now. It's going through here, down around this way, and out over here at the moment. You can probably you can see that quite clearly on the video. There's a river channel formed right here, and you can see the way that it just naturally forms these curves in the pathway. And then over time, it might break a hole through part of it. You might see parts of this bank collapse into the stream channel, and that might then change the course of the stream because it's blocked off. It might block off part of the stream channel. Here you can especially see that it's cutting away at that bank, and that bank is sort of collapsing. So it's curving through. Right now you can see this is definitely a delta that's forming right here. You can see it's sort of extending out in a sort of triangular shape from the mouth of the stream there. So there's some pretty interesting things happening with the way that this stream is flowing. Gonna add a little bit more water. So I'm gonna just add a little bit more water here to make sure it keeps flowing for a bit longer. Okay. We may not get a whole lot more interesting, like super interesting things happening. It seems like this has formed a pretty consistent pathway at this point, though. I don't know, is it still? It seems like the water has kind of stopped flowing somewhat, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because the water is still coming out right here. We can see it. See it's still flowing down, but for some reason it's not really doing much in our stream channel. So I'll pause it again for a minute. All right, so I just raised the back of this whole thing just a tiny bit to try to get things flowing better. This will go just a little bit more. It's helping a bit. Okay, now we have some action going again. Now the stream is moved over to this area here. And it's kind of coming down this way now for some reason. Or it was. Need more water. Yeah, here we go. So it's coming down this way now through here. For some reason it doesn't want to go that way anymore. So it's coming down here. I guess this way got blocked off enough. Yeah, it's almost forming another new pathway now. It's kind of coming this way and then through here and down that way, kind of also through here a bit. So anyway, the main things I wanted you to see in this activity are like the way that particles are being carried along with the current of the stream. The way that the stream naturally forms these meanders, the way that it erodes on the outside edges of the meanders, so the cut banks, you can see those happening here in this stream channel. With the little bit of extra water, we can see it going again. And right now the water is coming down through here, right? Coming through here. We can see it cutting a channel by eroding the material out of the way, carrying it with it. You can see like here was a cut bank where it was eroding the outer edges. Over here, it was eroding the outer edges. You can, through here right now is where the water is actually flowing at the moment, and also in through here, you might have just seen some collapse of some material there. Down here, actually something interesting is about to happen right here probably. There is some collection of material building up here. And I think we're gonna have, yeah, right here, we just had a breakthrough of material right in this region. Sort of some erosion still happening here. It's kind of getting deposited in this area, and actually right now the flow is going down through here. So the goal here for you is to just keep watching closely as you can to what's happening to the stream, and you're going to make some observations about it. So right down here, you might have just seen a breakthrough. Yeah, a breakthrough of material. So now it's coming through here instead. And you can see the bits of material being carried down. You can see it being deposited down here when the stream runs out of energy, and then the material that it's been carrying gets released. So this part up here has become a bit of a mess. It's not a very clear stream channel anymore. And that's partly because the soil is just getting too wet and it doesn't really have any roots or anything to support it. So another thing that happens to hillsides, if there's no like grass or trees or anything like that, then erosion sort of goes out of control, and the hillside will collapse and possibly even have like a mudslide kind of thing happen. So if we did this long enough, this whole hillside would kind of just collapse into a pile of goop, because there's no structure in there holding it together. But for now, since we're not going that far, you can see the pathway that has been made. I'm just going to kind of trace it out here to show us right at the end. The pathway came, right down through here, right? And you can see with me moving that, it became even more clear. The pathway is coming down through here, right? And then around this corner, and then down through here, and then down to this area here. So just that little bit of me disturbing the hillside also greatly affected the way that it was flowing. You can see it's now formed a new channel going straight down here. And you can actually see a brand new channel forming even as I'm speaking. Forming and eroding and changing, the pathway being altered like moment by moment. It's cut banking, it's making a meander here, it's coming in here and depositing a bunch of material, which is going to make it change direction and go some other way, like right down to here actually. So this is much faster than a normal river channel forms. It's a small scale experiment to show the concept of how a river channel forms, but you can just see like all these river processes that we were talking about are happening right here as you watch in this simulated demo river stream table, as we call it. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and call it good at that point for this video. It's a bit of a long video, but there's a reason for that, because this is sort of a simulated lab activity, and if you were in class, you would be doing this yourselves and watching the results and messing with it and seeing how it works. So this has been your chance to see me do it for you. Thanks for watching. Hope you found it interesting and informative, and I will talk to you later.